video is a bit about some of the things you need to think about before doing exercises for patellar tendonitis. I'm also going to refer to it as patellar tendinopathy. In real terms it means the same thing, but in 2019 a bunch of the world leading experts on tendons decided that the best terminology for this sort of problem would be tendinopathy, because itis in the tendonitis means inflammation, and they no longer think that is a key feature of this problem. So if I'm talking about patellar tendinopathy, it's the same as if I was talking about patellar tendonitis that you might have been told that you have. My name's Steph. I'm one of the physios at sportsinjuryphysio.com, where you can get an online assessment for your injury and an individualised rehab programme if you want one. So if you are interested in this, please have a look at the description of this video, and the details for the website are in there. First things first, and that is that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to exercise for patellar tendinopathy, The reason is there's loads of different things that contribute to someone having patellar tendinopathy in the first place, and also different individuals have very different needs. For example, if you've got an elite basketball player who needs to jump, land, push off, sprint, even though they may have a very similar looking patellar tendon on an ultrasound scan or an MRI scan to, for example, a long distance hill walker, the hill walker needs long, steady endurance up and down hill, good strength. They don't necessarily need the same explosive power that a basketball player might need. So two different tendons would have two different aims and different then exercises, particularly towards the later stages of rehab when you're trying to return to the activity that you've been missing out on. So that's the first thing. Then different individuals have different biomechanics that may have led to the injury occurring in the first place. So some people might be predisposed to getting a patellar tendinopathy if they perhaps have weak glutes or poor core, and someone else might have altered foot biomechanics that might lead to their knee not moving in an ideal way and therefore loading certain areas more than others. Some people might have stiffness or tightness in certain muscles like hip flexors or calves. And all these things can have a knock-on effect on what you need to address to really drill down to the root cause of why the patellar tendon has become symptomatic in the first place, and not just treat it, get it better, and then have it recur all over again. So that's another thing that needs to be thought about, rather than just deciding what exercise to do for a particular problem. Thirdly, when we take a history from someone about their injury, you want to be identifying things like training errors that might have led to things becoming overloaded, and usually it's because as an individual will have a baseline level of activity and then perhaps suddenly increase their training or suddenly change their training or change their footwear, and there's a sudden then increase in load on that structure. And that can be part of the reason the patellar tendon has flared up, and therefore it is important that that is addressed, because no matter what exercise you do, if you're still aggravating it, or you don't realise that that's why it's aggravated in the first place, either it's not going to get better or it's going to come back again. So these are sorts of things that we can help identify. Another point I want to make before delving into different types of exercises are that if you are still aggravating your patellar tendon during day-to-day activities, or you're still playing a sport that aggravates your patellar tendon, then it doesn't really matter what exercise you're going to do for your patellar tendon. It isn't necessarily going to get better if you are still aggravating it. So the first thing to do is identify what sort of things you are doing that is causing it to remain sore. And if you really want it to get better, then you will need a period of time where you offload from those activities, be it kneeling if you're doing gardening, or crouching down low on a low level scale, walking long distances up and down hill, or for example a sport like involving running and jumping that is aggravating the patellar tendon. So stop doing aggravating activities. That's the number one thing to do. Final words on this, and that is to try not to irritate it by massaging it, poking it, continually testing it, stretching it. All of these things might aggravate the tendon. They might feel good at the time, but if it isn't getting better, it could be that you're continuing to aggravate it by doing things that actually you think are helping and are maybe not helping as much as you would like. I hope you found this useful. Please check out part 2 of this video series on exercises for patellar tendonitis to listen to me talking more about the actual exercises that you might need to do for your patellar tendon. And of course, if you want to get in touch with us with regards to booking an individual assessment, then please check out our website, and the details for this are in the description of the video. Good luck with your injury, and I hope it gets better soon.